Hello and welcome to today's video, which is going to be an introduction for my new low buy. I'm very excited for this. I am starting a year-long low buy. I'm going to give you my very specific rules in this video to keep myself accountable. Before I do that, I just want to give a tiny bit of an introduction. My makeup shopping peaked in around 2017 and 2018. Therefore, in 2019, I did go on a low buy. And if you want to watch those videos, I did document it on my YouTube channel. So I'll link some in the description box if you were not following me at that time. I did one that was a beauty budget for 2019. So I set a budget of $83 a month for makeup and skincare, which for me was significantly less than I had been spending prior to that. And it worked out very well. It was a success. I wanted to do it more as a way to save money. However, I looked back on some of my older videos and I discovered there was one little bit of a downfall to doing it that way. And that was because sometimes I was purchasing more quantity over quality because I wanted to maximize my budget for the month. And there were a few palettes that were, very drugstore affordable, which I love a lot of drugstore makeup, but some of the ones I bought, I didn't put a lot of thought into, and I later decluttered several of the palettes that I bought during my low buy of 2019. And yeah, I just don't really want to do that again. Now in 2020, I did something different. I allowed myself to splurge more on makeup if I could save in other ways in my life. So what I did was I switched to a monthly budget for everything in my life. And if there was money left over at the end, I could spend that on makeup. And I definitely spent quite a bit in 2020, probably similar to maybe what I was doing in 2018. However, I put a lot of thought into my purchases and I have way fewer makeup purchase regrets from 2020 than I did from 2019, which is kind of interesting. Now, that leads me into what I'm going to be doing now. And it's going to be more about the number of products. It's not going to be financially based. And basically I'm doing this more because now I want to use the products that I bought in 2020, really get good use out of them and enjoy them. I still want to try new things, but I just don't want to be bringing in as many things as I did last year or even the year before. I have some other videos kind of related to makeup and consumerism, and I have a whole playlist dedicated to that. So I will link that if you want to see some other videos, and let's just get into the low buy rules. Here we go. As I mentioned, there's not going to be a budget for this, but I'm still going to be doing what I did in 2020, and that is continuing on with my everything monthly budget. And then if there's money left over, then I could buy makeup within these rules. So first of all, PR is not going to count for most categories. For some of it will. I don't get a lot of PR, but I do get a few things here and there. Also, gifts, those are not going to count either. I don't really get a lot of gifts other than for my birthday. Usually my husband does buy me makeup, so that won't count. Now, for some of the categories, what I'm gonna do, hopefully this makes sense, by the way. I hope that this is not too convoluted. And I know that a lot of people are gonna say, this is not a low buy, this is still a lot of stuff, but this is, for me, a low buy. And I don't compare myself to other people. I just compare myself to myself, and I just wanna do what's right for me and what makes sense to me. And I really don't recommend, if you do want to go on a no buy or low buy, I don't really recommend just copying and pasting somebody else's rules. I think we need to just adapt things for ourselves. So just wanted to mention that. All right, so some of the categories, I will be able to buy products if I am under a certain maximum. So for foundations, I'm allowed to have 8 total at once. So if I have 7 foundations, I can buy one. Same with primers. The maximum will be 8. Face powders, 10 is the maximum. So if I have 9, I could buy one. So for those categories, PR would count. So if I had 7 foundations and I got a foundation in PR, that would take me to 8. Therefore, I could not buy any foundation unless I used one up. Concealer, also same thing, maximum of 8. I will say I have 11 concealers right now, so I'm gonna have to use up quite a few before I'm gonna be buying any concealer. And then I forgot to mention one thing for the powder. The only exception to that is my under eye powder. I only own one under eye powder, so if that runs out, I can repurchase that even if I'm not under 10, if that makes sense. I feel like this sounds really convoluted, but I swear in my head, this is making sense. All right, next up, highlighters. So for the entire year, I would be allowed to purchase 3 highlighters total. So for the rest of the categories, it's different than what I did for the complexion products. And this would include either a powder highlighter or liquid highlighter, 3 total for any of those. Blush, same thing. I could buy 3 if I choose to, and that could be powder, liquid, any of that. 3 total for any blushes. Bronzers and contour products, again, 3. I don't need 3 bronzers for sure. I mean, I don't need any new makeup, honestly, but I'm kind of giving myself the option to still try new things, but without going overboard. And for these categories, PR would not count. So if I got a bronzer in PR, that would not count as one of my 3. FYI there. Face palettes, I could potentially buy 2. I'm trying to be very, very picky about face palettes that I purchase. I want to make sure every shade in it works for me. I do not want to buy any face palettes where only one of the 2 of the colors I like. So I'm trying to be extremely picky about face palettes. Last year I did buy a few. I think I maybe bought 3 or 4, and that is just too many. And I'll mention some of the other things like blush. Yeah, I think I bought like 5 or 6 blushes last year. I don't need that many, you know, maybe I want to try a new formula here or there. Highlighter too, my highlighter collection really exploded, and I don't need more. But there's a few things that I potentially do want to try, so we shall see. I'm giving myself the option. Right, for mascara, brow products, eye primer, all of those replacements only. And that's really all that I've done for those categories for many years. I don't stock up on mascara or anything like that. I just have what I need, and then I repurchase when it runs out. So that's what I'll be doing for those. For eyeliner, all I own right now is a black pencil eyeliner and a black liquid eyeliner because that's all I use. So replacements only for those, with the exception I've been considering purchasing a brown pencil eyeliner to use in the waterline instead of black. We'll see. If I do decide to do that, that would be allowed, but I am not allowed to buy any colored eyeliners other than black or brown. I stopped buying colored eyeliner a long time ago, though. I just realized it's not something I use. And if I want a color on the lower lash line, I just use eyeshadow. So I have not bought colored eyeliner in many years, but I'm just kind of explaining that. Okay, the next category is single pot eyeshadows, like a ColourPop Super Shock shadow, or just a single shadow that comes in a compact, not one that's for a magnetic pan. I don't buy a lot of those. I have 3 right now. I'm gonna give myself the option of buying 2 for the entire year. I don't know that I will, but in case I get the urge, I'm giving myself the option to do so. This would also potentially include like a glitter, like a Stila glitter, which again, I don't buy those anymore anyway because they just dried up way too quickly. But if I really wanted to buy either an individual glitter or an individual compact eyeshadow, I could potentially buy 2 total for the year. All right, and the last category is eyeshadow palettes. And if you've been watching my channel, you know that I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes. It is by far my largest makeup category, but I did go into 2020 wanting to try more from my favorite brands and also try some formulas I'd never tried. But now I really want to use all those palettes that I bought in 2020. So I went back and forth on this a lot. First I thought, okay, I shouldn't buy any palettes, which in reality is probably what I should do considering how many I have. But I wanted to give myself the option. What I did, I went back and watched my ranking all of my eyeshadow palettes video that I did at the end of 2019, which again, that was the year that I was on that low buy with the budget. And in that video, I ranked 17 eyeshadow palettes. So even on my low buy year where I was on that budget, I bought 17 palettes, which seems like a lot, although I bought 3 times as many in 2020. Full disclosure. So anyway, I decided 8 for the entire year. I would be allowed to buy 8 eyeshadow palettes for the year. I'm sure a lot of people are going to think that that is still a lot, but compared to how much I bought in the past, for me, that's actually more reasonable. And I've also decided if I choose to buy single eyeshadows, the ones that are magnetic that you put in like a Z palette, I don't buy those very often, but I'm giving myself the option. Again, I wanted to cover any potential base. I didn't want to leave myself any wiggle room. That's why this is so specific. No wiggle room, hard and fast rules. I decided that if I choose to buy magnetic single eyeshadows like Makeup Geek or ColourPop or whatever, 10 single eyeshadows would be equivalent to a palette. So if I want to use one of my 8 palette purchases to buy single eyeshadows, that's how that would work. That's what I decided. I don't buy single eyeshadows a lot, so we'll see. But again, I wanted to have the option. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is skincare. Back in 2019, when I did that beauty budget, it was for makeup and skincare. I'm not doing any rules for skincare anymore because I don't have a problem with skincare. I don't buy it excessively. I just buy what I need. I use it up, replace it. That's all I'm doing with skincare, and that's all I've done for several years. Therefore, I'm really not worried about it. I'm not buying hundreds and hundreds of dollars of skincare at Sephora and leaving it to sit in my bathroom. So I just don't have an issue with skincare. Therefore, I'm not worried about my skincare spending at all. Same with hair care. I just buy shampoo and conditioner. I run out and I buy more, so that's not going to be included either. That's why this is strictly for makeup, because that is definitely my problem area. I get so tempted to buy new makeup products, as many of us do, particularly for me, eyeshadow palettes and highlighters. I just totally realized I skipped over lip products. Yeah, they're on my list, but I skipped over them. Oops, sorry about that. For lip products, I am allowing myself 5 for the entire year, and that could be either a lipstick, a lip liner, or a lip gloss. So that is 5 total for any of those 3 categories. Now, I've been on an extreme lip product low buy for the last 6 months. In the last 6 months, I think I've bought 3 lip products total. I got a gloss and 2 lip liners. I have not been using lip products as much in the last year, as many of us have not. And so I'm gonna try not to buy any for a while because I'm barely using the ones that I have, but I'm giving myself this option that if later in the year things improve, I can be out and about more, I would be using my lip products more, which is why I'm giving myself that option for 5. So that would be 5 total. So that could be either 5 lip glosses or 2 glosses and 3 lip liners. 5 total for any of those 3 categories. Alrighty, that is it for my low buy introduction. Please let us know, are you doing a low buy or no buy? I know that a lot of people have been on no buys for multiple years, people that I follow on YouTube and Instagram, and it's really, really impressive and amazing to see. So let us know what you guys are doing as far as no buys or low buys and things like that. Stay tuned for new Project Pan introductions coming in the next few weeks. If you want to catch up on last year's videos, I will link some in the description box. That is it. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.